Okay, so you know how it is, right? You're out in Nashville, enjoying the night, the music is amazing, and then suddenly you realize you're hungry or you need something, like maybe you forgot something you need, and it hits you that finding a good place to eat or somewhere that's even open late in Nashville, especially if you want something beyond, the typical fast food or whatever, is actually really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what caught our attention when we started looking into this project called the Late Night Automated Bodega in Nashville.
Right.
It seems like it might actually be a pretty brilliant solution to this problem that we just, we're talking about. So that's what we're going to like really dig into today.
Awesome. Yeah, so we've got their business model canvas. We've got a complete business package from them.
Yeah.
And, when I first heard automated bodega, my brain immediately went to like, okay, some kind of like high-tech vending machine situation.
Right.
But looking at all this stuff, it is so much more than that.
It really is. And the thing that struck me is like, why is this concept so interesting? And I think a big part of the answer to that question is the team they put together
Yeah, let's talk about the team.
and their business acumen.
Yeah, so first we have Chef Kelt Chavez.
Okay.
Now, this isn't their first rodeo. This isn't,
Right.
someone just coming up with an idea on a napkin. They're a successful entrepreneur coming to Nashville from Atlanta with a history of multiple businesses. But I think the important thing here is that those businesses include restaurants.
Yeah.
So that tells me right away that they get it. They understand the food industry, which, let's be real, is not easy.
Notoriously difficult.
So the fact that they've not just opened restaurants but successfully scaled them suggests to me that they understand things like supply chains and menu creation and just all the operations that go into making a food-focused business work.
And that experience is going to be vital.
Especially one that's, automated, emphasizing things like chef-designed menu items and fresh food preparation, which is, front and center in their business model.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting to see how that pairs with Del Rivers, who's the CTO, and their background is in AI business strategy and automation. So you've got the culinary expertise, and then you've got this like real like deep tech understanding, which when you think about an automated bodega, which has to run 24/7 seamlessly,
Right, have to be reliable.
that technology piece is absolutely critical.
Yeah, this isn't just about, stocking shelves.
Right.
It's creating an entire retail experience that's automated. So that's where Dell's skills are so important. The technology implementation, the automation systems management, like all of that is really the engine of this whole thing.
Yeah, we're talking about frictionless transactions, the potential for personalized recommendations based on your purchasing patterns, the intuitive interfaces that are easy to use. Like all of that comes from a very deep understanding of technology and how to apply it to this particular retail environment.
Right. It has to be good.
It does.
Because especially, late at night,
Yeah.
you don't want to be struggling with some clunky interface. You want it to be simple. You want to get what you need and be on your way.
Exactly.
And then the third member of this team is Takeitha. And what really stood out to me about Takeitha is their connection to Nashville,
Yes.
specifically the business and music scene.
Like a key figure in Nashville.
Yes, and I think that's so crucial because, you can have a great concept, but if you don't understand the local market, if you don't have those connections,
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard to beat traction.
Yeah. And especially when you think about how important community integration is to their strategic plan.
Right.
Having someone who really understands Nashville, not just the city itself, but the culture, the people.
The vibe.
Yeah, the vibe, particularly that nightlife scene.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a huge part of Nashville.
absolutely.
So having someone like Takeitha on board is really invaluable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a reminder that having a great idea is one thing.
Right.
But you've got to have the right people,
Yeah.
the right experience, and the
Absolutely.
right connections
The local knowledge is key.
to actually make it work.
Yeah.
So this team, they've got it, and I think that's a really promising indicator right off the bat.
It's a great sign.
So let's dig into the business model itself. Like, what makes this concept so innovative, and why do we think it has a real chance of succeeding?
So I think it starts with a real market gap that they've identified. And Nashville booming tourism industry and, its legendary nightlife, they really create this perfect storm.
Yeah.
Because you've got all these people coming in, you've got this really vibrant scene that keeps going late into the night. But when you look at what's available in terms of like quality food
Right.
and retail, especially late at night,
Right. It's slim pickings.
it's pretty limited.
Yeah, you've got fast food, you've got maybe your standard convenience store, which,
Right, which has its limitations.
Exactly.
Especially if you're looking for something fresh or, a little bit higher quality.
Right, and that's where I think their hybrid concept is so smart. They're combining the convenience of a convenience store with
Right.
the prepared food offerings of like a quick service restaurant.
Like a fast casual kind of model.
Exactly. And they're doing it all with the efficiency of automated retail. So it's like they've taken the best of all these worlds.
They're hitting multiple needs at once.
Right. And I think that's going to be really key to capturing that late night market.
Yeah, because different people have different needs at different times.
Exactly.
So you might have someone who just needs a quick snack or a drink.
Right. A forgotten teeth brush.
Exactly. Or you might have someone who's leaving a concert and they're starving and they want a good meal.
Yeah.
So this hybrid approach lets them cater to all of those different customer journeys in the same space.
Yeah, it's smart. And when you look at their target customer segments, they've really thought this through.
They have.
So they've identified 5 key groups. And it's interesting because they've actually given projections of what percentage of their customer base they think each group will be.
Yeah, let's break those down because it gets really specific.
Okay, so first up, we've got the late night workers, and they're projecting that this will be about 25% of their customer base. And this makes perfect sense when you think about it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
These are your bartenders, your musicians, finishing up their gigs, hotel staff, anyone who's working when most other people are out enjoying themselves.
Right, they're on a totally different schedule.
Exactly. And their needs are all about convenience, reliable access.
And quality, too.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to eat junk food every night just because you work late?
Right.
So the fact that they're emphasizing fresh ingredients and chef-designed menu items is going to be huge for this group.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they're already thinking about how to reach this segment, too.
Yeah.
Talking about things like industry-specific promotions
Right.
and using platforms like Instagram and TikTok where these folks, are likely to be spending their time when they're not working.
Exactly.
Smart marketing strategy there.
Okay, so next up is the nightlife patrons.
This is a big one.
This is their biggest segment, actually, at 30%. And again, it makes total sense. Nashville is known for its music and nightlife.
This is a huge draw.
So you've got all these people leaving bars and clubs and concerts late at night, and they might be hungry, and they might just need a pick-me-up.
Right, or something to take home with them.
Exactly. And their strategy for reaching this group is really interesting, using geo-targeted social media ads around entertainment venues after midnight.
Oh, that's smart.
Right, so they're catching people right when they're leaving a venue and probably thinking about what to do next.
Yeah, like right in that moment of need.
Exactly. Okay, so then we have tourists and business travelers making up 20% of their projected base.
Okay.
And, Nashville attracts a ton of both.
Tons of visitors, yeah.
So these are people who might be looking for, some local specialties. Maybe they forgot some essential travel item,
Right.
or they just need something quick and easy. And I think the emphasis on Nashville specialties is smart.
Yeah, it gives them a taste of the local flavor.
Exactly. And they're even talking about partnering with local hotels.
Oh, interesting.
Which makes a lot of sense, as an alternative to those sad mini fridges.
Yeah, or the overpriced snacks in the lobby.
Exactly. Okay, so next we have college students and young professionals, around 15%.
Gotcha.
And this is a group that's always on the go.
Right, always looking for something affordable and quick.
Exactly. Study fuel, late night snacks, and they're digital natives.
Yeah, very online.
So the plan to do campus marketing and have a strong social media presence is spot on for reaching this group. And then finally, you've got your local residents, which make up about 10% of the projected base.
Okay.
And for them, it's all about having a reliable neighborhood option
Right, something that's open late.
that goes beyond what's currently available.
Yeah.
So I think it's really impressive how they've broken down their target market into these specific groups.
And really tailored their approach.
And really thought about how to reach each one.
Yeah, their marketing plan is very specific.
Okay, so we've talked about the team, we've talked about their target market. Now let's get into some of the specifics of how they're going to make all this happen.
Okay, so one of the things that really jumped out at me was their emphasis on strategic partnerships.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just going to try to do everything themselves.
Right.
They're really looking to collaborate with other organizations and businesses in the community.
Yeah, so for example, they're planning to work with tourism organizations to get the word out to visitors.
Yeah, smart.
They want to partner with neighborhood associations to make sure they're really integrated into the community.
Yeah, build those local relationships.
Exactly. And they're even talking about cross-promotional opportunities with complementary businesses.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so not direct competitors, but businesses that might cater to similar customer segments at different times of day.
Yeah, like a coffee shop that closes early but, has a similar target customer.
Exactly.
So they're really thinking about how to leverage those existing networks.
Right, and I think that speaks to their understanding of how important it is to be a part of the community.
Yeah, marketing amplification.
Not just some faceless automated box.
Right, they want to be a real part of the Nashville fabric.
Exactly, and that brings us to the tech.
The heart of the operation.
Right, because operational excellence through technology is really the foundation of this whole concept.
It
I mean,
is.
the fact that it's automated is what allows them to offer that 247 reliability and efficiency.
And that's a huge part of their value proposition.
Absolutely, because they're not relying on, staffing a store around the clock,
Right.
which is expensive and hard to manage.
Yeah, and it can lead to inconsistencies.
Right, so instead they're using technology to streamline everything.
So we're talking self-checkout systems for speed and convenience,
Yeah.
global ordering for ease of access, and then there's this sophisticated AI-powered inventory management system,
Right,
which is crucial for a 2047 operation because it ensures they have the right stock levels,
right,
prevents waste,
right.
and just makes everything run smoothly.
Yeah, and it's not just about cutting costs.
Mhm.
It's about maintaining quality standards,
Absolutely.
which is something they're clearly emphasizing,
Yeah.
the fact that they're talking about chef-designed menu items,
Yeah.
using premium brands in their retail selection and
Yeah.
incorporating local flavor.
It's not your typical convenience store fare.
Exactly. They're really aiming to elevate the whole experience.
It's about convenience, but it's also about quality.
Right, and I think that's going to be a major differentiator for them.
I agree.
Because they're not just competing with other convenience stores, they're competing with all the late-night options.
Yeah, fast food restaurants, late-night diners.
Exactly, and they're offering something truly unique, that combination of convenience and quality.
Yeah, it's a sweet spot they found.
And then when you look at the financial projections, they're projecting year-one revenue of $1.8 million,
Wow.
which is pretty impressive against an initial investment of $750,000,
And the 5-year IRR is projected to be 42%.
which is a strong indicator that this concept is financially viable.
Yeah, it shows they've done their homework.
They've really thought about how to make this a profitable business.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've seen the team, the market, the business model. Now let's talk about the future. Like, where do they see this going?
So their initial focus is on getting that first location up and running.
Right.
And they're really strategic about where they want to be.
Okay.
They're looking for a high-traffic area in Nashville,
Right.
ideally close to those entertainment districts and hotels we talked about.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they want to be right where the action is.
Right, where the people are.
Exactly.
But it doesn't stop there.
It doesn't.
They've got a clear expansion plan.
Yeah.
They want to open multiple locations in Nashville.
Okay.
And then potentially expand to other similar markets.
That's smart. I mean, if it works in Nashville, why not take it elsewhere?
Right. But I think it's smart that they're starting with one location.
Yeah, prove the concept first.
Exactly. Work out the kinks and then scale from there.
And they're not just thinking about opening more locations.
Right.
They're also committed to continuous improvement.
Yeah.
They're going to be using that data analytics platform
Right.
to track their performance, see what's working, what's not,
Right.
and adapt their offerings based on that data.
Yeah, that's so important. In today's market, you have to be data-driven.
Absolutely.
And they're also really focused on building a strong brand identity.
Yeah, one that resonates with the Nashville culture, but also feels modern and innovative.
Right.
That balance is really important.
Yeah, they want to be authentically Nashville, but also, appeal to a wide audience.
Exactly.
So when you put it all together, this late-night automated bodega project really is impressive.
Yeah, it's compelling.
You've got a strong team, a clearly defined market, a unique and innovative business model, and a vision for the future.
It checks all the boxes.
And now addressing a real need in a way that's never been done before.
Yeah, it's a fresh approach to a problem that a lot of cities face.
And I think it's going to be really exciting to see how this unfolds.
Me too. It has the potential to be transformative not just for Nashville, but for the whole concept of late-night retail.
Yeah, it's a great example of how technology can be used to improve people's lives in even the smallest ways.
Absolutely.
And it makes you wonder what other industries could benefit from this kind of approach.
Yeah, what other problems could be solved with a little ingenuity and some creative use of technology?
That's something for all of us to think about.
Food for thought.
Definitely thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time.
See ya.
Hey!